G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on the map Gorge, one of the brand new maps from the expansion pack, The Sultan's Ascent for Age of Empires 4, to witness an old civilization up against a relatively new one. This guy's only been in the scene for a year or so, so he's relatively new. But anyway, look, let's get down to it. We got ourselves two incredible players today, and we start on the south side, playing as the Delhi Sultanate in the color blue, representing Team Liquid. It is Demu. And in the north of the map, in the color yellow, playing as the Malians, Lucifron. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this Age of Empires 4 content, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell for notifications, I guess. I remind you because if I don't remind you, you just won't do it. So you got to go ahead, go on, get there, get over and do it. Anyway, let's get to it. We got ourselves a fun matchup here. I like this matchup a lot. Not only is it the Malians that we get to see here, which I've always been a fan of as a civilization. Never really played them, but always found their explosive nature very, very fun to watch. But we've got Delhi versus the Malians, and why that's so interesting to me is because the Delhi are an explosive civ as well. However, it's a little bit different. They come out of the box, and they are firing on all cylinders. Expect to see Demu look to take all three sacred sites early on. The problem that Demu's going to have is that Lucifron is going to look for a castle age timing. And the economy that he is going to have behind this is going to be absolutely absurd. So the big question on my mind right now, we've got ourselves a clash. Who's going to come out on top? We've got the clash of the Delhi Sultanate with their large feudal presence up against that inevitable castle age timing from the Malians. So we'll ride on board with Lucifron and see how he looks to open this one up. It's going to be 6 houses to start you off. So 1 straggler tree equivalent of wood that has gone into all these extra houses. The pit mine, of course, gathering up plenty of gold early on. The equivalent of 2 villages, by the way. Tell you what, I don't know how they managed to balance this civilization around that, but they did, so well done. But then we're going to come in here, snipe away a couple of these sheep a little bit closer to home. You can see he's going to be able to pick off 2 sheep that Lucifron would have got if it weren't for these meddling kids. Look at that, throws the villagers inside the town center. I think he was looking to get the age up food. Not going to be able to find it, though. Villagers head back to work, sheep come through, and now Lucifron should have the advantage over onto the north side. You can see him running a bit of an angle here because he knows that the sheep for Demu need to get back towards that town center, so he's just going to make sure he shadows him. We start to see those age-ups coming through. It's going to be the Mansa Quarry on the front of the base here for Lucifron. Another sheep going through for Demu. Demu having a nice little early game here. On that south side, though, Demu going to be going up with the Tower of Victory, so we don't see any Dome of the Faith coming out today. Often well, not often, but we have seen rarely this Dome of the Faith into boom build, where you go like 2 TCs and you don't really play or prioritize going for the sacred sites. And we can see that Demu's not really looking to do that. So I do suspect it is going to be aggression coming out from our Delhi Sultanate player today. But let's ride on board with him and see how he's doing down here. We'll check in with him and see what the upgrades are looking like. So he's managed so far to get that nice early upgrade. We'll be working towards Piety now. Expect to see Sanctity on the way through soon. Once he's got that age up. And there's 5 villagers on the age up, so a pretty quick age up here. So he'll be looking to get out units on the map quickly. I think the question for me is going to be, how many blacksmiths does he look to put down? Because if I'm playing in this matchup right now, I'm thinking you could probably get away with, I would almost be tempted to say just going for a no blacksmith opening would be legit. How many? Oh, okay, there we go. Okay, I got my answer. I was going to say, how many scholars is he going to be going for, though? Because 2 scholars makes sense. If you can get to 3 scholars, though, for something like this, it feels really good. Because the reality is, I don't think Lucifron's going to be making a lot of units early on. As I say that, we're probably going to see a stable or an archery range thrown down immediately. Let's have a look and see. He's got the resources in the bank for it. Expect to start to see upgrades coming through shortly. Where's that lumber camp? Show it to me, Lucifron. And there he goes, spending resources on something. What did he spend the resources on? It's going to be a pit mine that he's thrown down. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we'll keep a lookout for those upgrades. He's picked up a whole bunch of upgrades here. We've got wheelbarrow about to arrive. Horticulture on the way through. Sanctity now in queue as well. That's going to give him a timing of roughly 7 minutes for those sacred sites to be taken. Double broadaxe as well as forestry coming through. He's actually prioritizing the forestry for the moment. Let's check in on the north side, though, and see how Lucifron is doing. I'm curious to see, at the moment, whether he looks to go into anything other than than cows. Cows just seem to be the most dominant way to play it, but it doesn't really have a good spot to put it. I guess you could probably put it towards this top side, but even then, there's not a whole lot, and it looks like the mill will come down next to the town center, so it is going to be a cow-based play. I guess you could always go in the back here as well, but I don't know if he's got enough room for those cattle ranches. House now coming up underneath the pit mine. So far, so good. We're right on board with Demu, as now that stable is online, and these Ghazi Raiders could look to do some damage. He's got no villagers on gold as well. Another indication that he's going to be looking to commit heavily to this feudal age. One other thing to note is no blacksmith up yet. I'm going to be honest, I really like this from Demu. I think in this matchup, you should just be trying to get out onto the field, get as many units as you can immediately, and just look to try and take all the sacred sites. I think that's such a smart move. And then once you've taken all the sacred sites, look for that castle age, but at the same time, look to get those double blacksmiths in the transition period, and that's going to power your upgrades. All right, well, we're right on board with Lucifron as he's going to be under pressure early on. Now, he's got the scout out and immediately sees the Ghazi Raiders. We can see that the response has been issued. It's going to be a barracks and archery range also getting thrown down. You can see there is space being left in the back of the base here. I suspect it's not going to be cows. It's in fact going to be horticulture followed by wheelbarrow. Ghazi Raider looking to chase away the villager. Will be able to find it. Second villager coming forward and almost attempting to just say, hey, you know, come get a piece of me instead. Leave her alone. And indeed, he leaves her alone. Working towards that magic, though. We see the double broadaxe is now through. Wheelbarrow, of course, has arrived, or rather will arrive shortly. Second rack's going to get thrown down, so this immediately indicates to me that Lucifron says, actually, I'm quite keen just to play it out in the feudal age here, which is kind of curious. But I mean, this is something mandatory. It's just, I think, the fact that he's gone for the double racks, which is quite interesting, and the blacksmith is just going to further cement that. He is keen on staying here inside the feudal age. There are mitigating returns, though, on being in the feudal age as the Malians. Just obviously the javelin throwers are good, but the real key that you're looking for as the Malians is getting the castle age, getting the imported armor for your Sofa warriors, and most importantly, getting those poison arrows for your archers. That's the real big upgrade that you love to see. But have a look at the number of Ghazi Raiders that are out here. This is a ludicrous amount of units he's got on the field. The crazy thing to me is that Lucifron reacted with a barracks as soon as he spotted Demu's Ghazi Raiders, and yet now Demu's got 9 Ghazi Raiders out on the map. His opponent has only got 4 Donzos. That is ludicrous. But it looks like what we will see from Demu is going to be that blacksmith coming out. Does opt for ranged attack as his first upgrade. Looks like he's getting it through pretty quick at the moment. Another 2 minutes and it'll be coming in. One interesting thing to note is he's going for ranged attack, but he's got no ranged units. At least he has got no ranged units yet. Expect to see that archery range coming up shortly. Another mill going to be coming down on the front line here. You can see that he's able to pick up the survival techniques. It'll be all the upgrades that he needs for the moment. Can always look for professional scouts, but you don't need to rush things over here. Ghazi Raider's able to siege down these houses, and definitely a bit of a greedy opening here from Lucifron. So Demu definitely getting a nice little foot up in this fight early on. There's the archery range, as we suspected, is connected to the network, so the Tower of Victory will be able to provide a little bit of attack speed boosts to that. So, now that we're 8 minutes through this game, I'm just going to... Give me a moment, fellas. I'm just going to take a quick sip of my drink. I'm once again drinking my alcoholic apple juice. Give me a moment. That is so good. I tell you what, that is absolutely delicious, man. It's genuinely just apple juice with a little bit of a pep to the step. Oh, love it. I love it. It's a little bit of a woman's drink, but hey, look, I'm not going to discriminate against a woman's drink in 2024. You'd be crazy too. Anybody up for some... Anyone for margaritas? I'm trying to think of like the most feminine drink I could possibly think of. What's the most feminine alcoholic drink that you can have? It would have to be like a cocktail of some sort, right? Like a pink cocktail with fruit in it and a little umbrella. No, what are they called? If you like... What's... Come on, Drongo, you can remember it. It's an alcoholic drink. It's in that song. Pina coladas. Pina coladas. That's got to be it, right? I didn't even know what is a pina colada. I just imagine... Nice little shot right there. I just imagine the pina colada is just a drink that you have in the Caribbean, right? Like that's where I picture it. You know, you're on the beach somewhere, there's white sand, you've got your feet up, maybe there's one of those little bungalows nearby, you know those cute little bungalows where they're just made out of wood and they sit just over the water a little bit in the lagoon? Man, isn't that a dream right there? I tell you what, I hope one day I get to go and do something like that. See, the trouble is I've got kids, and so it's just like, I'll get to do it when I'm 65 years old. Like, that'll be when I get to see it. I'll be old and decrepit, don't want to take photos of myself. Anyway, sorry for sharing. There you guys go. That's a little bit of Drongo insight for you. But hey, look, we're here. That's what's important. We showed up. Anyway, Demu's able to take that third sacred site now, maintaining a really strong presence out here, and we start to see a scout just being annoying. Now, one thing to note, Demu yet to get walls up around these sacred sites. For me, I just like even one unit coming out here and getting the work done. He's not going to be able to find it. Look at this. He's got 15 archers on the field. Where are they all? They're just camping out in the base at the moment. Really curious decision here from Demu. Could easily look to put pressure on in this situation. These Donzos would easily be one shot by the amount of archers he's got here. And Demu really committing quite hard to this feudal age. I'm loving it so far. No villagers on gold, just looking to use the gold from those sacred sites to power that castle age timing. The question's going to be about how quick he goes for it, because at the moment there's a lot of pressure being put on towards his opponent, but the cows are starting to come up. We can see there's 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 cows now, with a 10th one being eaten. Might even be an 11th one being eaten. Sacred site being neutralized in the middle of the map. Does he look to show his hand right now? Demu with a lot of infantry. Right on board with Lucifron. He's got the scout here as well. He will see the archers are out, +1s coming through on both of those. Only the ranged armor at the moment for Lucifron. And now the Ghazi Raiders begin to move forward. And behind, oh, this could be an absolute Donzo sandwich coming out right now. He's trying to keep the Donzos here as close as he possibly can. Meanwhile, the archers managed to tee off. He's done a wonderful job at this stage of the game. Needs to make sure he doesn't lose too many, and he just cleans them up. Beautifully played right there by Demu. Even losing 1, 2, 3, 4 Ghazi Raiders is 100% worth it. That was so nice, because you've just taken out a huge portion of the Donzo numbers for Lucifron. And that's going to mean that at this stage, you're able to just to dominate or put yourself out on the map, be really present out there, and he can't really react to that, because now he's going to have to rebuild those Donzo numbers, and that's going to give you a great window to go castle here. So let's have a look and see whether Demu's going to go for it, whether he's going to commit to feudal age. But I feel like going to castle age here is definitely the right call. Now that he's taken 3 sacred sites, he's got no use for the gold. Like, of course, he could make more scholars, and he's got 6 out already, but the reality is you can only make so many scholars before, you know, going castle age just makes more sense. So I suspect he's probably going to be transitioning a few wood villages over onto food, look to try and get that castle age timing through. But food resources are a little bit low over on that side of the map. Archers continuing to push forward here. Having a difficult time to deal with these archers, the javelin throwers are. They've got that extra attack speed. Keep that in mind, so it means they can shoot and scoot a little bit better than other civilizations' archers. And just simply able to repel them back, able to force them towards the enemy's base. We'll switch it over now to incomers. We're 12 minutes and 43 seconds into the game. An absolutely lovely number. How are the economies doing at the moment? So it looks like we're about 1,600, 1,900, about 2,000 compared to his opponent, sitting at about the same number of resources at the moment. So both players pretty even Stevens here. You've got the cows versus the sacred sites, and of course, oh, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. Look at this. The cows have been killed in the back of the base. A little bit unfortunate there. I think just a consequence of being pressured at the wrong time. You were rallying out all of your cows, and unfortunately your villagers were like, yeah, these cows under the town center. Where's my next cows at? And they just went over and slaughtered these 2 cows trying to get into the pens. Wasn't able to find it. So you've got a really interesting situation right now. You've got one player who has taken all the sacred sites, and another player who has arguably allowed him to do that. Now, I don't think Lucifron envisioned losing the sacred sites this badly, but at the same time, I think it definitely doesn't bother him that he's lost these sacred sites, because he's still got a game plan. He's 1 TC. He's not 2 TC. And why is that important? Well, that's important because the Delhi spikes right now in the early game. Okay, so the fact that he's 1 TC is a good thing. It means he can invest everything into units. But speaking of investing into units, have a look at the Ghazi Raiders as they make the rounds towards that top side. Plenty of buildings here to prevent those chase-throughs coming in. And now the Javelin's able to tee off towards all of those archers, one-shotting them, overkilling them completely. And the Ghazi Raiders, together with the archers, will be forced away from this position. But you've got to remember that at this stage, right, like, I almost feel like this is playing into the hands of Lucifron. Think about it, right? What is going on this game? Demu's got all the sacred sites. That's, he's going for battering rams. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I feel like we should have just transitioned like 12, 14 food or wood villages over to food. You know, just go throw them out over here and then just go castle age. get your veterancy upgrades, move into knights, and that's pretty much it. Knights and crossbows, and that's it. But the problem that you've got now, I don't think Lucifron's going to be looking for that castle age timing, but I definitely think that the mass is going to be significant for him. He should be able to pretty easily defend this, I suspect. Even though the numbers aren't the best, remember that he does have the range on these units, and that's going to be key here. So the Donzos firing off at the first Ghazi Raider, able to take it out. Javelin throwers on the defense here. I'm going to head back into that cinematic mode. It's 50 versus 85 military population, but remember, you do have those more expensive units on the side of the Malians, and now all of the units jam-packed in to that nice little position. He needs to bring the Donzos forward to be able to melt them down, but have a look at this. Demu looking to try and crush the army as the Javelins fall back to let the Donzos pass through, and now instead of going back and forth, he's just going to start sieging it down. Villagers evacuating. 3 villagers going down off that pit mine. More and more javelin throwers, and now we start to see a little bit of an issue with the javelin throwers. I mean, it's just that classic case of your javelin throwers can only kill as many units as shots that they can fire every second. It's really hard to micro these guys out individually, but still doing a really good job. The only problem is he is losing infrastructure. Donzos together with the javelins able to take out those Ghazis. And now he's taken out plenty. Looks like a single battering ram moves forward. He's going to be able to take that one out. So that's 1 of the battering rams that are taken out. Still 2 remain, though. Now looking to put pressure on that north side. I say that north side. I mean, technically, it's the north side of the base, the east side of the base, as the javelins fire off towards that center of mass. We'll quickly just check in what the populations are. 44 versus 71 still. So still quite in favor of our Delhi Sultanate player. Can we just have a look at what is the economies? Yeah, see, look at this demo. Still nowhere near aging up at this stage of the game. Really looking to hard commit to this feudal play. Rallying out more and more units. We see them coming down to the south of the base here. The javelin throwers together with the Donzos just sitting, biding their time. He's lost all the production here on this south side of the base. Archery range, barracks, archery range. Now going to have to rebuild. More and more coming out. We see double range coming through. Triple or double racks and another range coming in on top of that. Needs to be careful not to lose this pasture. Might have to pull a villager if he's paying attention to it. Javelin throwers teeing off once again. He's able to whittle down these archers slowly but steadily. Needs to be careful. He's up against a lot of units out here though. And now the javelin throwers able to tee off once again. Keep in mind the attack speed is on the side of our Delhi Sultanate player, and all the Ghazi Raiders run in. Javelins looking to continue teeing off towards the archers. It's almost like you're watching the English play when you're watching the Malians. Now those spears, aka Donzos, move forward, able to eliminate the single Ghazi Raider in a single blow, and we're going to see 3 cows pop out very, very soon. Hello, my little friends. I'm going to take a quick drink. Come on. Don't fight. Oh my god, that is so good. I love apple juice. I love alcoholic apple juice. Oh, he's repairing it. He made it in time. Very nicely done. Let's bring that UI back in. These guys still don't seem that intent on killing each other just yet. I mean, it's a slow and steady death here coming out for Lucifron. He's working the magic in. And now that age up looks like it will come through. Demu has done the right thing and moved over those villagers. He's to be honest though, he's done a really good job in taking out all the infrastructure that is here. More and more Donzos now continue to push up. He's able to deal with his front line, but have a look at this. Just the pure archer number is so damn high right now. 45 archers coming out for Demu, looking really solid in this game, just bringing back and forth these Donzos, but now the Donzo number is looking good as well. Keep in mind these Donzos have got a little bit of extra armor, but it's only the melee armor. It's not going to be that ranged armor, so when they get into close combat like this, it'll work against the Ghazi Raiders, but not going to do too much against the archers. But look at this. It looks like it's finally come out. Demu falling short of the finish line by only a couple of inches. The numbers here way too strong, and if he kills the cows here, this would be pretty decent. If he realizes that there's cows on the ground here, this can be annoying because you want to put your landmark down and you have to eat all the cows first, and then you can put the pastures down or the cattle ranches down. He's not going to realize though. Look at that. And so now all of a sudden it's just going to be a simple rebuild. He's got the space to drop the landmark down here. So expect to see the landmark come down shortly. Now that he's won this fight, I suspect he probably knows that his opponent will be looking for Castle Age, and indeed he is. We can see the House of Learning is almost complete here. Interesting decision going for the House of Learning rather than the Compound of the Defender. I guess there's a couple of reasons why you'd want to avoid it now, but of course House of Learning is going to help out with things like your men-at-arms are a little bit stronger, your knights or lances are a little bit stronger. So that's always something to consider, but Demu doing a really good job, just being annoying over on this east side of the base as well, forcing away those villagers from the pit mine. Going can see he did have quite a bit of villagers out here. And the age up comes through. Expect to see your veterancies. There's the veterancy text coming in immediately. Ghazi Raiders, or Ghazi Raiders, aka your horsemen, your archers, and all your +2 ranged attacks, ranged armors, and of course +2 melee armor is going to be coming through as well. So now Lucifron knows it's go time. He knows he needs to get Castle Age. And I'll be honest, his position doesn't look the best. He's lost a lot of infrastructure, but what's important to note is that he didn't lose cows. And if you don't kill the cows, you don't slow the tempo of the Malians. The Malians at this stage of the game still, in my opinion, oh god, sacred victory. Oh, we completely forgot about sacred victory, and you want to know something? It almost feels like Demu has as well. These aren't walled up. Look at this, he just walks onto the sacred side. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna just neutralize the sacred victory. Don't mind me. Like, all it took was one wall. And you rally out. You've got 21 archers right now. Where are they all? They're just up here over towards this top side. Like, they could easily kill this. And now the sacred victory that could have been is gone. Because there's nothing here that can stop this. And yeah, you can move your scholar over carrying a relic, but at the end of the day, this was just a free sacred victory that was oh my... He's just going fast Imperial. He literally skipped Castle Age. Look at this. He actually skipped Castle Age. Is that even wise? Like, okay, hear me out. You get free upgrades as the Delhi Sultanate, but it takes time. The problem is, he hasn't even been in Castle Age long enough to get the free upgrades. So he's going to get to Imperial Age, and it's like, hey man, you want to get your elite archers? You can't even get them yet, because you need to wait for veteran archers. He skipped Castle Age. Gets a couple of free scholars here for himself as well. Keep in mind, he's got the Hussar Academy, which is going to give him even more access to those technologies. But really, really smart move here. Now Grand Fulani Corral going to be coming in from Lucifron. And it just feels like Demu's really far ahead, but the military numbers are starting to look good for Lucifron. Where does Demu go from here? Realistically, what does Demu do in this situation? Because the Castle Age has come up. He's going for a Madrasa as well. I wonder what the idea is behind the Madrasa. I guess he's just looking for double upgrades. He doesn't want to wait 12 minutes for your upgrade. Okay. This is where I think going for like the going for the Dome of the Faith would have actually been legit, because right now, instead of sitting on 10 scholars, he could be sitting on like 25 scholars, and he would just be like, he would be pumping, dude. It would be ludicrous. These upgrades would be coming through so quickly. He'd be getting elite upgraded everything. And I think, do you just go into Men at Arms? I think that's probably the play here. Men at Arms? Men at Arms probably Men at Arms Mangonel maybe? Maybe that's the play. I think Mango Men at Arms. But the issue that he's going to have, though, is that there's a large mass coming out from the Malian player. Veterancy has just arrived, and he doesn't really have a way to deal with this at the moment, because the Delhi Sultanate, obviously, they excel in the Castle Age, but they really excel with these sacred sites. There was no walls to defend them, no keeps. He was just looking to utilize the gold from it, which is absolutely fine, except for the fact that he genuinely could have won the game by just holding those sacred sites. At least it felt that way, but he's gone and spent all the resources now. He's decided, instead of going for units, I'm just going to go for my age up. Imperial Age it's going to be. All right, I'll respect it. Let's see how we go, though. Interesting little farm here. I just clicked on it. It's just going to work out to be something normal. I can't believe he literally skipped Castle Age. That is absurd. All right, Demu. Now trying to hold on for dear life. The javelin throwers inside the base. 5 ranged armor, by the way. Only 8 damage on these archers. So it means they're only doing 3 damage apiece here. Numbers looking really, really good for Lucifron. He's going to continue to rally in more and more units across the map. Relic in the middle of the map. I like the fact the javelin throwers just doing a little bit of a jig on that sacred site. He's looking to try and pick off the javelin throwers. It looks like he's about 2-shotting them at the moment, which isn't too bad, honestly, 2-shotting the javelin throwers. Town center will help defend them. No siege here, and we'll be fighting into the reinforcements. Have a look how many upgrades are coming through right now from our Delhi Sultanate player. And indeed, the defense looks like it is going to be holding. But one of the things to note, that by going for the Hussar Academy, he is going to be giving himself food. So we've got that food starting to trickle through. You can see that he's got 12 food per minute based on the number of techs researched. So he's got a total now of 226. So you can assume that it's close to 19 technologies, somewhere between 19 to 20 technologies that he's researched. There they start coming through. I'm almost tempted to say maybe going for the other landmark would have been the play. The one that gives you the ranged elephants, but hold your horses. You're up against probably the only civilization that it wouldn't make sense to do. Let me explain. Elephants, high HP unit, okay? Also ranged. The problem is javelin throwers, they overkill things, right? You're doing 20 damage with each of these javelin throwers. You've got 17 on the field. That's 340 damage each round that's coming through. And of course, you've got ranged armor on your elephant, but still, at the end of the day, the javelin throwers would actually excel in this situation if you went into the elephant. So I think Demu's definitely made the right choice in going for the Hussar Academy in this situation. But now, Knight's coming forward. The single Knight gets taken out very, very quickly. Looking to try and take out the rest of the units on the backside. No elite upgrades still yet coming through. We can see the archers only with their veterancy at the moment. Ghazi Raiders still looking to come forward here. Sacred Site gets lost on that north side. He's managed to take out all three. Musofadi warrior has joined the battle as well. And rallying in more and more units, both of these players look to continue defense. The mosque on the front line. He doesn't want to lose this. Scythe Barnes is also in queue. Another 4 minutes to go on that bad boy. Slowly but steadily researching all the text that he needs. And as he does that, he comes more and more online, up to 300 food a minute now. On that Hussar Academy, he is looking to try and maximize his efficiency in the Imperial Age. And I reckon, I'm not going to lie, I do kind of like this position that he's gone. The one thing that I'm just thinking is, like, if we had just maybe waited around a little bit longer in the Castle Age, maybe walled up those sacred sites, maybe it could have been a bit different, but it definitely feels like we're under a lot of pressure here. Demu, now, on the back foot, once again. A single mangonel here could change the tide. Remember that. A mangonel with just a couple of villagers on it could really make the difference in this situation. As long as you've got something to deal with these Donzo numbers that keep pushing through, Sofa's now joining the fray. Remember that when you're watching the Malians, there's two primary compositions you're going to see. Starts off Donzo Javelin, a really good composition, but eventually they want to switch into Sofa Warrior and then finally add in Archers instead. The Archers pair really well with the Sofa Warrior, but normally you want to wait for your imported armor before you do that. Speaking of imported armor, take a look what we've got coming up for us. It is, of course, imported armor. So expect to see our poison arrows coming through shortly. Walalo attempt on the front line. Might be able to find a Donzo or two. Nope. Finds nothing. Comes up short there. And now villagers being forced to run away. 26 minutes into this game, the raiding begins. No walls coming out at all for our Delhi Sultanate player. Despite his military being able to build those walls, keep that in mind. Each one of these military units is its own little Donald Trump. But indeed, we don't see any walls coming up from him just yet. Bill's making a run for it towards that north side. He's evacuating out here. Still got farms on the south as well. Men-at-Arms have arrived onto the field. We start to see that defense coming through. How about the elite status for these units? It doesn't look like we've got elite men-at-arms in queue just yet. If I can find a barracks, I'll be able to click on it. Still can't find it. I see a whole bunch of rangers. Man, where are all your barracks? There they are. Yeah, no elite upgrade clicked just yet. Of course, we want to try and put a scholar in a building, get the elite upgrade, so it's shortened its time. That should be our focus here, once we're in the Imperial Age. But now, Demu, the fight continues on. Javelin's teeing off. 49 military against 21 military. The economics is pretty similar. One thing to note, though, is that Lucifron has got the cows on his side. And he's got the big cow landmark, Grand Fulani Corral. Look at the base from him. I love the way that, you know, most civilizations, like you play the Chinese, you build a building, and it's like, here, have a garden. You play the English. It's like, here, have a backyard with a clothesline. And then you build the Malians, and it's like, here's a building. Have some sand. We imported this sand all the way from the Saharan desert just for your base, Lucifron. Please, have some more sand. Speaking of sand right now, I tell you what. I was trying to segue into sand. I don't know how I could possibly segue into sand. Comic Sans. How many people will that trigger? That's going to trigger a lot. Not just the Comic Sans, but the Comic Sands. That'll trigger a lot of people. Mosque working on its upgrades. Zeal going to be coming through. In fact, Zeal could look to turn the tide. 50% attack speed is definitely noticeable. And now those men-at-arms still with their elite upgrades yet to come through. We don't even see them in the queue at the moment. A little bit of an oversight here from Demu, I would say, but I guess realistically, you've got only limited production here. You can see it takes 4 minutes for these elite men-at-arms to arrive at this stage of the game. I think they're all connected to the Wi-Fi, so he should be fine. Just took a little bit of a sip. I should have told you guys I was having a sip. But now Lucifron's just camping up the base, and it feels like Demu can't really remove these units from his base. He's having trouble. You know, I'll tell you something. I don't know if it's disgusting anyway. My son, he's got head lice. So you know what I did? I just shaved his head. It's just easier. And I feel like right now, Demu is dealing with head lice because they just keep coming back. Every single time he manages to spray it or shampoo it, guess who rises up in the morning? It's Lucifron, and he's got more units, and he's still coming back. And look at this, in the eternal pressure that is coming on right now. It is the classic head lice strategy that we are seeing out of Lucifron here today. Men-at-Arms numbers starting to build, but of course, the veteran Sofa, not only do they have that extra armor up against the Men-at-Arms, but they also have extra attack against the Men-at-Arms. They do very well here, so you might even have to think about crossbows, but then you think about crossbows, and now you've got to deal with the javelins. So Mangonel could be the answer here. Maybe Mango Spear could be the play. I don't even know really what combo he could go for. He's struggling to keep his head above water, though. Like, that's really what it feels like. It feels like a man trying to keep up with the what's it called? When you get swept out to the ocean, it normally happens in one of those things along the beach. I know we learned about it in Australia, the rip. We call them rips. It feels like you're fighting against a rip here. Just, you know, no matter how hard he's swimming, he's just going backwards. He's just going backwards. And now, more so for Warriors, finding it out. Two sacred sites taken by Lucifron. I take it back. 3 sacred sites now taken by Lucifron. He's just dancing around, and we can see Demu now starting to drop to 50 vills. 30 minutes into this game, it's starting to feel more and more like it might be Lucifron's game. He's been holding on for dear life for the last, what is it, about 6-7 minutes or so? And it was all just because of this Imperial Age. Had you spent, so how many resources is this? 2,400 resources, 1,200 gold. So let's say instead of spending those resources on Imperial Age, like what else would you spend them on? Maybe some knights. As an example, that's 12 knights. That is no small amount of knights that you could have looked to have turned the tide of the battle. But maybe Lucifron, or maybe Demu just realized he wouldn't be able to deal with the economy of the Malians. Like, realistically, at this stage of the game, the Malian economy is massive. He's got cows all day, and that's just going to be it. Demu realizes he can't do it. Look at how many units are coming out. It's the cows. It's the pit mines. It's one base Malians, and it's just unstoppable. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go check them out. I'll leave links in the description of where you can watch them live over on Twitch, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.